All right, what's going on with the housing market up here in Jacksonville, Florida? Okay, this whole North Florida area, the metro area, 9 counties. Well, growth of over 20%. Holy cow. What county is that? Well, I'm going to show you. You know, is it the whole area? Is it the one county? Well, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break down all the counties in this metro area for you to show you what the growth is. Also, I'm going to cover all this tonight. All right, these questions I'll be answering tonight. What is the current active listings? How many sold in the last 7 days? How many homes are under contract? How many new homes sold in the last 7 days? What is the current active new home listings? How many active listings are in foreclosures? How did people pay for all these homes? What percentage of homes sold under list, at list, and above list? And much, much more. Hey, and then I'm going to add in those condo numbers too, because a lot of people are interested in those condo situation. Okay, you know, we haven't really seen a big dive yet here. I mean, those things are crumbling with the condo market, but we're going to follow it. Hey, you know what? I'm in season 3. This is week 5 of my show Bubble Watch. I've been doing this for over 2 years, bringing you these real numbers in real estate to you every week. And tonight we're going to look into the back end of my MLS and show you those numbers. Hey, you know what? I'm just a regular guy who happens to be a real estate agent up here in North Florida, and I bring you into the back end of my MLS every week. So let's get started now with those active listings. All right, here we are in the back end of the Northeast Florida MLS, and what we're going to do is, if you look over here, up in this area here, right there where it says view results, that is where the numbers will be as I check off the different things that we look at. All right, first thing we're going to start off with is those active listings. So we'll click on that, and these are active, and then the solds will be 7 days back. So click on the active, and that number is 9,144. Okay, and that is your current inventory. Okay, next we're going to take a look and see how many sold in the last 7 days. Okay, that number is 458. Next, I'm going to take a look and see how many are before I do that, I'm going to go over here. And what this is going to do is give us not only what I'm showing you here, it's going to give us a lot more data from the sold numbers, and that's what I'm going to be putting into my Excel spreadsheets. And what I'm doing now is I'm just exporting their Excel spreadsheet. That's done. Now we go back into, okay, now we go and look at what is active under contract. That number is 1,516. Now these are active under contract with contingencies, okay? Contingencies being like either for appraisals, repairs, or financing is the most common. All right, sometimes it could be a contingent upon somebody selling their house too. So there's different types of contingencies, but that's active under contract, that's what it is. Next we look at pending, okay? Now these are the ones that went pending in the last 7 days, okay? They were active under contract with contingencies. The contingency has cleared, and now they're in pending status on the way to close. But not all pendings close, okay? That number is 404 in the last 7 days went pending. All right, next, and then when you add up the total pending and active under contract, then you get the total under contract, okay? Next, we're going to take a look and see how many people withdrew their listings in the last 7 days. That can't be right. Let's see, here we go. There we go, 64. Now, withdrawn, the status is it's still an active listing. It's just that people cannot show it. It cannot be shown. And a lot of times it happens, people are either working from home and just can't show it right now. Somebody's sick, or they're doing repairs, different things like that. Next, we're going to take a look and see how many expired in the last 7 days. Okay, that number is 148. Now, these are no longer active listings, okay? They were on the market and did not sell, and so they are an expired listing. That means they're no longer up there for sale. All right, next we're going to take a look and see. We'll go back to the solds. And we're going to take a look at how many new construction sold in the last 7 days. Okay, that number right there is 74. Okay, next we're going to take a look and see how many new construction is active listings. That number is 2,130, okay? Next, we're gonna take a look at the foreclosure numbers, okay? These are gonna be people that are in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, or short sales of the active listings, okay? So let me make sure I got active checked. Yes, I do. Everything else is unchecked. We'll go into, okay, foreclosures. That number is 313. Next, we're going to take a look and see how many are in pre-foreclosure. That number is 14, and then next we're going to look at short sales. And that number is 30. All right, now we go and we take a look at the condominiums, okay? We do all the same data, but just we're pulling the condo data out of everything else. So we'll check off for the condos. And what we'll do is we're going to look at the active listings, make sure everything else is unchecked. I'll check the foreclosures. Okay, and take a look. All right, active condos is 1,104. Okay, next we're going to take a look and see how many condos sold in the last 7 days. That number is 41. Next, we're going to take a look and let's download that report also. Okay, next we're going to take a look and see how many are active under contract. For the condos, there's 139 active under contract. Now, how many of those went pending in the last 7 days? That number is 26. And again, when you add up their pending and the active under contract, gives you the total under contract, just like the last one. Okay, we're going to look at how many people withdrew their condo listings in the last 7 days. That number is 11, and we want to see now how many expired in the last 7 days. That number is 14. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the new condominiums, okay? We're going to look and see how many new ones were sold in the last 7 days. That number is 0. Now we want to look and see what the active inventory is for those condos. That number is 9. Okay, we're going to also look at the foreclosures on them, and these are ones that are active listings that are statused in the foreclosure range. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is how many are foreclosures. That number is 45. How many are pre-foreclosure status? That number is 0. And how many are in short sale status? That number is 1. Okay, now I'm going to take all that data, I'm going to export it into an Excel spreadsheet, which has a lot more information than what I just covered right there. I'm going to show you. Okay, that spreadsheet looks, man, really bundled up like this with all this data, so it's not easy to read. So I convert it into my own spreadsheet, what makes it easier to read. It looks more something like this. Well, all those numbers are crunching out right now. Let's take a look and see what those rates did. We saw that the Fed, made their announcement Wednesday here about pretty much keeping things the same. But let's see what those rates did over this past week. All right, here we are in Mortgage News Daily. We're looking at the rates, and what we're going to see, what you're going to look at is, first we're going to look and see where we ended up last week, and that'll always be right here in this bottom column. And we see for conventional 30-year, it was 7.03 last week, and then now what we ended up with is 6.97, so that'll be at the top. All right, and we see here on the side, we see the arrows showing how the interest rates fluctuated. First, they really took a jump, then it was minor jumps, went down, then took a nice downturn there, and then a small downturn. Okay, next we're going to take a look, and we're going to see what those FHA rates were, because they're generally a little bit cheaper. Okay, as we look at the FHA, same thing down here. We were at 6.54 and then we ended up this week 6.43, so we did go down. Even though we had mixed bags of arrows up and down, the overall net was that it did go down. Even though during the middle of the week there, it did kind of shoot up. Next, let's take a look and see what those VA rates are. Okay, the VA rates down here, we look at the bottom, it's 6.55 is where we left off last week, and we ended up at 6.45. So the same result here. We had some mixed arrows, and we still ended up down overall, which is a good thing. All right, now normally I used to do the square footage and median price every week, but then I don't get that data no more downloaded weekly. It's only a monthly. So last show, okay, Bubble Watch season 4, week 4 has the information from last monthlies. Okay, I don't do it every week. I just do it once a month as I get the information from Fred. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take you to those Excel spreadsheets. Okay, here we are in the back end of my Excel spreadsheets showing you where we put all this data together. All right, these columns that are in yellow, now these are for you that are new to the show, are the current weeks. And you can see this week right here, we're in week 5 of season 3. Now the previous weeks, are striped in yellow. Now the column next to the yellow here is last year at this time. So that was week 5 of last year, which was season 2. And then the YOY is the year over year percentage of differences, okay? So as we go down, I'll be reading these down through the lines. We've got at the top here, active listings was 9,144. So we see that is a big increase from last year at this time. And then also it's been going up from last week. Now we look at the sales sold in the last 7 days, 458, okay? That is down from the last couple weeks here, also down from last year, okay? And last year was a crappy year. So, what's this telling us? We've got to watch and see, okay? Because remember, these sales, these are closed now. So these are ones that went under contract anywhere from 2 weeks to like 2 months ago, all right? And that 2 months ago was in the height of the spring season, and we're still in spring, okay? So active under contract is 1,516, so that is down a little bit from the last few weeks. Pending 404, so that is up from the last couple weeks. So our total under contract 1,920 is pretty close, to where we were last week, but it is still down. So we just got to watch it. That's why we do this every week. Withdrawals, 64. Expires, 148. Okay, normalized a little bit. Last week, man, it really came down. And I'm just wondering if a lot of people just had their contracts set to end right before June. Okay, but we still see that expireds up. New homes sold, 74. This is a huge drop, okay? It's a drop from last year and a drop from these last couple weeks. New homes that are active, 2,130. That's their inventory, so that is up, and that would make sense that jumped up since the other went down. Now, the percentage of homes sold that are new, this really dropped a lot, okay? Last week, 26.77. Before that, 32.41. This week, 16.16, okay? Big drop. All right, now we want to take a quick look at the condos. And here we see, let's see, I need to get rid of that. All right, now we see that active condos 1,104, so it has gone up slightly, not a lot. Sold condos 41, that's down, but everything else went down. Percentage of actives that are condos still in the 12% range, okay? So we really haven't seen a disaster yet, even though it's brewing, okay? It's brewing, but we haven't really seen it here. All right, how did people pay for those homes? Okay, right here we see cash 27.95, so cash is up. All right, conventional went down 38.65, FHA down a little bit 13.76, VA up a little bit to 16.81, and others jumped back up 2.84, more of its normal range. Last week was kind of a weird thing. All right, we take a look at All right, we take a look at the foreclosure numbers. Okay, 313 are in foreclosures. These are active listings, okay, that are for sale, and that's what their status. Their status is foreclosures, 313. Status as pre-foreclosures is 14 of them, and status as short sales is 30 for a total of 357. All right, so this is down, okay? I mean, down quite a bit from our trend where it was just constantly going up, then started coming down a little bit in week 1, week 2 up, week 3 down, back up, and now back down. So we're just going to keep an eye on this too, as we do every week. All right, here we look at the percentage of homes that sold under list, at list, and above list, okay? The percentage that sold under list dropped actually from the last few weeks, okay, to 66.16. Homes that sold at list, 17.67, so that is up and up. Homes that sold above list, okay? Now, some of these that are selling above list, now without dissecting it and looking at them all, but there could be a good percentage of them where people are pricing them, below market value to get a lot of people to come in and put offers on it, which drives it up. With multiple offers, you'll drive it up. So then the data is going to show it above list, even if they listed it below market to play the game to get the activity. So there could be some of that going on. So just take it for what you will. All right, here we look at the category of homes in the price ranges. All right, homes that sold in the 500,000 and above, 32%. That's up. Homes that sold in the 400s, down, okay, 13.76. Homes that sold in the 300s, that's also down, 21.62. Homes that sold in the 200s actually went up, okay, to 22.93, and homes that sold below 200, 9.61. All right, so we see that the expensive homes, went up, and then some of the less expensive homes also went up. Off to the side here, I show how many of these were new homes, okay? Since new homes total was 74, we broke it down like this. 27 of them were 500 and above, 14 in the 400s, 20 in the 300s, 13 in the 200s, okay? There's our total at 74. So as we can see, that sweet spot still is the $500,000 up, and then that $300,000 range. All right, next we're going to look at the new homes. All right, here we go. New homes that sold under list, at list, and above list. All right, homes under list, 60.81%, so that is down, okay? Ones that sold at list stayed about the same there at 18.92, but what jumped up some was the homes that sold above list. Now, I'll tell you, the builders are not pricing them below market to get multiple offers, so I don't know what's going on there, but some of the houses now are, went up, in this last week. All right, now what I take you to is MLS Advantage, okay? Everything I just had, that's out of the Northeast Florida MLS, which is the largest MLS up here in Northeast Florida. But MLS Advantage includes all these smaller boards. And so what I do is I get the sales from that and put it together in these 9 counties, and then I break it down by the county so that you can see the difference. And this gives us a bigger picture of what's really going on with sales up here in Northeast Florida. All right, so right now let's go into MLS Advantage. Okay, here we are into MLS Advantage, and as we look at the 9 counties here, Baker, Union, Bradford, Clay, Nassau, Duval, St. Johns, Flagler, and Putnam. So what we do is go over here and hit that search button, and our total is 647 properties sold. Okay, after we put all that in from the MLS Advantage, we look at it, break it down by counties, and here we've got our counties. Baker 3, so up 1 there. Union at 2, so they doubled from last week. Bradford at 5, they more than doubled from last week. Clay actually dropped, went to 58 from 86. Nassau 70, just down 1. Duval County 235 down there. St. John's 157 down. Flagler at 107, and Putnam at 10. Okay, they really dropped quite a bit. So that total 647. So we see it was quite a bit lower than the last couple of weeks. Okay, here I look at the condos. Okay, this is the condo charts. All right, so here it follows the same as the others. Okay, actives 1,104, solds was 41. See, down a little bit. Active under contract 139, so that's down a little bit, but the pendings went up where we got a total under contract 165, so that's up from last week, but still down from the week before. All right. Withdrawn 11, same as last week. Expired 14, so again we saw that drop down as it did with the total on the others. New condos sold were 0. New condos active up 1 to 9. All right, how do people pay for those condos? Okay, condos are always a higher percentage with cash. Okay, so here we've got cash at 51.22, conventional 41.46, no FHA this week, VA 2.44, and others 4.88. And how does it break down? Over here on the side we show 21 of them were cash, 17 were conventional, none were FHA, 1 VA, and 2 were others. That gives us our total of 41. And again, the reason cash is higher in condos is because lenders do have that requirement that if a certain percentage of people are behind in their HOA or maintenance fees or mortgage, then they will not finance anyone in that condominium, okay, regardless of your credit or history or who you are, okay? That's just their parameters. All right, when we look at the condo foreclosures, we see 45, so they actually went up a little bit. Pre-foreclosures, none. Short sales, 1. Total 46, so like I said, that's up just a little bit. Okay, now we look at also the condos that sold under list, at list, and above list. 87.8 sold under list. 7.32 sold at list, and actually had some that sold above list this week, so that was 4.88. Now over here on the right you see 36 of them sold under list, 3 of them at list, and 2 above list. There's our total of 41. All right, when we look at the price range for these condos, okay, condos in the 500 and up, remember that's a $500,000 and up, 24.39, so that is up from the last few weeks, okay? Condos that sold in the 400 range, up also, 9.76. Ones in the 300 range, up, definitely up a lot from the last 2 weeks. Condos in the 200 range, now that has dropped, okay? And condos below 200, that has dropped also. When you look at the numbers on the side, you see 10 of them went up 500 and above, 4 at 400, in the 400s, 9 in the 300s, 9 in the 200, and 9 in below 200s. There's our total of 41. New condos, nothing's new, so we'll just skip on and move on. Okay, here is where I look at the number of condos that sold based on the stories. Okay, as we can see here, okay, what I do is I show you the total stories, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, and then over here how many sold. So for instance, the first one, 4 of the condos sold were 1-story units, 13 were 2-story, 13 were 3-story. So I'll just scroll so that you can take a look. Okay, next, because it's critical of when they were built as far as that law goes, 30 years out or 25, depending on if they're closer to the coast or not, or the county has a different ordinance. All right, here we're showing the actual year of the condos and then the amount of stories for that total complex for that one particular one. These are each individual. So that first one was a 2010 and it was a 1-story. The next one was built in 1984, it was a 1-story. The next 1-story was built in 2005, and so on. And then I'll scroll this so that you could take a look at it also. Okay, next we look in the counties where these condos sold. Okay, none in Clay. Duval had 22 of them. St. John's had 14. Flagler had 2, and Nassau had 3. There's our total of 41. Okay, this next one here is where I show the original list price, the closed price, which is the sold price, and the difference. Okay, so as you can see, that first one, $885, sold for $690. The difference was it went $195,000 below. These are all ones that went below list price, so you can see the difference, okay, how much below list price they actually went, and see where it's all at. So I'm not going to rattle off all 41, but I will scroll down so that you can take a look. All right, now we want to get to where that growth was. Okay, over 20%. All right, well, I got some charts here that's showing all this growth that's going on up here, okay, in Northeast Florida. Like, you know, they give it for the whole country, but I just broke it down for here because everyone's thinking, okay, prices are going to come down, they're going to crash, they got to, all this and that. I don't think we're going to see a crash. We're seeing adjustments, you know, anywhere from, you know, 5, maybe 10% in some places. But still, I don't see the big crash that people think. It's not 2019 and it's not 2008. But I'm going to show you where this growth is, because what happens is when you got this kind of growth, man, that holds those prices, okay? That it's not coming down that much, and so, you know, you really got to see. But I'm going to break it down by the other counties too, so let's check it out right now. Okay, we're going to take a look here, the Jacksonville metro area, and I've got it broken down into these 9 counties. Some people say 7, but I say basically it's these 9. So as you see, Baker, Union, Bradford, Clay, Nassau, Duval, St. John's, Flagler, and Putnam. All right, so what we want to see is, okay, overall, where was the growth, okay, and how was it measured? All right, we'll take a look at this chart. And you see right there, St. Johns County is the winner at growth since 2020. From 2020 till now has been 20.23%, okay? I mean, this is huge. This is the reason, okay, that the prices aren't coming down significantly. When you've got this much growth, okay, over that time, that's incredible. All right, let's take a look at some of the other counties, okay, and see. Let's sort them out by alphabetical order. All right, we got Baker County there. Now, its growth was 2.97, okay, which contributed, so it still was up, okay. Next, we're going to take a look at Union County. Union County was very small, less than 1%, so they didn't really have a significant effect on everything up here. Okay, next we're going to look at Bradford County. Bradford County right there, also less than 1%, so really an insignificant factor. Next we're going to take a look at Clay County. Clay County now is more measurable, 8.81, and we do have a bunch of new construction in Clay County. And something to note of, St. John's, very popular, a lot of new construction going on in St. John's County, and some very popular areas there, especially that's where Nocatee is, okay? So that's a popular area, but overall just St. John's County in general. But Clay County here, 8.81, which was very good. All right, next we're going to look at Nassau County. Nassau County came in at a strong 15.54, okay? And I mean, that's just above Duval County. So between St. John's and Nassau, around, you know, the Jacksonville area, people are pouring in, okay? This is huge, and I'll show you how huge it is in just a minute here when we look at nationwide. All right, let's look at Duval County, and that's Jacksonville. Duval County was just 4.7%. It's not a lot there. All right, let's take a look at Flagler County. Flagler there, 17.32. Strong numbers, okay? Very strong, okay? Palm Coast is the favorite out there in Flagler County. A lot of activity there. All right, let's take a look at Putnam County to end it up. Putnam County, not much, 5.18, but still decent. It wasn't less than 1 like some of those others, okay? Very strong. Now I want to show you something that's interesting. All right, well, when we look at the whole state here, okay, and some of the areas where there's a lot of money going into is South Florida. So let's take a look. Broward County. Their growth over all that time was only 1.79, okay? And we'll look at Dade County, which they call Miami-Dade. Used to be Dade. Okay, less than 1%, okay? And then what about Palm Beach County? Palm Beach County is 3.58, a little bit more, but those small numbers in Broward and Dade County, what that's telling me is that, okay, that's growth since then. So they haven't had the growth in the numbers. And what's happening is, as these people are moving down with the money and causing everything to go up so much in price, people are moving out. Okay, so here's my point, is that area has a large population. Okay, and as that population shifts, the people coming in, and then the same amount almost going out. Where are they going? Some are going to Texas, yeah, I know. Some are going to other states, Alabama, you know, or the Carolinas, but a lot of them are coming up to North Florida. So that accelerates our growth. So that's how it affects our growth here. And that's what keeps these prices where they are right now. Until this changes and this dynamic changes, or there's like, you know, an economic change in the country, like with a recession or something like that, that would cause the prices to fall. It's not going to be dramatic. And I saw a thing with Redfin showing something about that. Yeah, they were talking about price decreases. 1%, big deal. You know, we need a lot more than that to really kickstart it. You know, as we talk about all the price of houses and everything and how expensive it is and unaffordable and all, well, there's still a lot of people buying houses, as you can see from my weekly show, how many sales. Now, yes, sales go up and down, they fluctuate, but people are still buying. And I do have a new show out there. Now it's going to be round 3, I think, that came out already this week. And what I do is I compare the new homes here in Florida to some used homes in other places. And I'm standing in front, and every week I'm standing in front of one of these new homes. So these homes here that I'm standing in front of at the time I'm doing this is for sale. So if you're interested, you know, that's it. But if you want to see the other show, also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of those shows. Plus, I got a lot of other videos on there other than just Bubble Watch, okay, with the market update. All right, now I'm going to be going over the houses of the week, and that's where I take a house that sold below list, one that sold above list, and show you, you know, what happened, you know, what the people made, did they make out, did they lose money, you know, look at their appreciation on that, and also look at a condo. However, some of the condos we haven't had any that sold above list, okay, in a few weeks, so whatever it is. Now, remember, if you're looking to buy or sell anywhere in Florida, especially in Northeast Florida where my home base is, then just shoot me a text, shoot me an email, or just call me at this number here and we'll discuss everything with you, whether you're looking to buy or sell. All right, so now let's go to those houses of the week. All right, here we're going to start off with the house of the week that sold below list price. Okay, this house here, built in 1973, 3,085 square feet, so that's a good size home. This one is in Duval County. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. And let's go ahead and check the history on this. Okay, now all these homes, when I do these homes of the week, you're going to see right here a column for price, a date, and days on the market. Okay, so when I scroll down, when I say the price, you'll be in that column, and then the days on the market, just look at the top. For instance, this one here was on the market for 167 days, okay, because that's at the top, that's the final. So we start off here at the bottom. It started off listed at $995,000, okay? And you see the date, that was on December 2023. Now, you can see the price differences as they lowered the price. They adjusted it down. So from $995, they brought it to $975 and so forth, till they ended up with an offer of $725,000, like I said, at 167 days on the market. All right, let's take a look and see what the price per square foot was. Okay, this ended up selling for $235 a square foot, okay? Let's go ahead and see what these folks paid for it. Okay, they bought the house in December of 2002 and paid $305,000. All right, let's put this into an appreciation calculator. Here we've got it in the appreciation calculator. When we figure it out, it came to, they had the house for a little over 21 years and got 4.12%. So they were a little bit below what you would like to see. 5 to 6 is what would be the norm. Although, you know, I mean, some could be 4, but generally 5 to 6 is what you'd like to see. So they did take a little bit, a little bit less, and no telling over that 21 years what they put into the house. Okay, now we're going to look at the house that sold above list price. This one here was built in 2010, 2,240 square feet. Okay, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. All right. Now this one here. All right, let's take a look at its history. Okay, as we see, they started off at $525,000. Was on the market only 2 days before they got an offer of $551. So this was definitely a multiple offer situation. Let's see how much per square foot this one ended up being. This one sold at $245.98 a square foot. This also was a VA mortgage, and they had concessions of $3,800. So let's, and those went towards closing cost. All right, let's look at an appreciation calculator. No, we got to see what they paid for it first. Okay, this house was bought back in 2010, in June of 2010. That, what you see there, that $70,000 was a quitclaim deed, so it was probably something within the family, so we don't really count that. What was the purchase price back in 2010? This was $239,900. All right, now we put it in an appreciation calculator. And these folks had it almost 14 years and got 6.09, so that was the norm. So, you know, it's a good thing they got the above price on there. Now, on this, you see the sales price is a little bit less, and that's because I take out the concession amount, okay? And something I've noticed with some of these houses of the week that have sold above, and I look for this now more, is that a lot of times they sell above list because they're given concessions, and then after they give the concessions, it's actually sold below list price. So I don't include those, so I filter those out when I'm looking at it, because you know, we're looking at what is the seller netting? Are they netting a gain or a loss? That's what I want to see. Okay, now we move on to the condo of the week that sold below list price. This condo was built in 1926. So now, when you see something built in 1926, there weren't condos back then, okay? They were hotels or apartment buildings, okay? And this one is actually on the river, so it probably was, you know, apartment complex, okay? When we look at it, this one here has a total stories of 14, okay? It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 919 square feet, okay? Next we want to look at, well, since we're dealing with the condos, is we want to see what their monthly fees are. So over here, their monthly fee is $530 a month, okay? So it's less than some of those that we've seen, but because of the age and because of the height, you know that it definitely falls into those new parameters that are going into effect here in Florida for condos. As far as these condo associations need to account for this money, they need the inspections to be up to par and all that. But just think, this thing here is 1926 and it's still standing, okay? So it says something about the quality of the building back then. All right, let's see what the history is on this. Okay, started out at $292,900, okay, was on the market for 193 days, and they ended up with an offer of $206,000, okay? And you can see that they lowered it a couple of times. What did they pay for it? All right, this one was bought back in 2014 for $95,760. Here we look at the price per square foot on this was $224, and let's see what the appreciation was. Okay, these folks here had it for over 9.5 years, and the appreciation 8.31%. So this one actually did well by that. Okay, next we're going to look at condo of the week that sold above. Now these have been rare, okay, but I found one here. All right, this one here, built in 1984, okay, so it's the older one, 1,030 square feet, but it's only 1 story, okay, a 1-story total. Now that 1 story that I'm looking at is total stories for the complex, okay, not just the unit itself. In this case, it's 1 and 1. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, okay. Now what are their monthly fees? Okay, monthly $457 a month, which isn't so bad compared to some of these other condos. Now this one here, they were saying it was, they had multiple offers, and they also said that this has a lot of renovations, so it must really be nice inside. All right, we look at the history here, and the history started out at $299,000. Okay, ended up on the market 17 days, and they took the offer of $313,599. This was a cash deal, and it came out to $304 a square foot. Wow, okay. Man, I can't believe this week 5 already. Next week's week 6. Holy cow. Hey, and there's a lot going on in this market. That's why you got to watch this show every week. Hey, until then, I'm out of here.